My grandparents live with us. They're my mom's parents, 86 and 91 years old. Greek immigrants who've been in this country for over 50 years. They're actually pretty spry for their ages. My grandfather planted his vegetable garden this year, kind of to the rest of the family's surprise. And my grandmother still fancies herself a one-woman neighborhood watch, which mostly just means she calls me anytime there's a woodchuck in the garden. But over the past couple of years, it's gotten more and more difficult for them to even go outside during the summer. The heat gets to them like it does to a lot of people, and sometimes they have to stay inside for days at a time so they don't risk their health. This summer has been challenging for a lot of people, my grandparents included. We're in the middle of a global heat wave right now. Last month was worldwide the hottest June on record, and if forecasts are correct, this July will be too. This weekend, a few dozen places around the eastern United States will experience record-breaking heat, and for 90% of Americans, the temperature will rise above 90 degrees. My grandparents are going to have to stay inside to avoid getting heat stroke, and so will a lot of other people. The climate is changing pretty quickly at this point, and the fossil fuel billionaires are the ones to blame. Those same executives who blow the tops off of mountains to get at coal deposits, who poison entire areas' drinking water supplies, killing cattle and deer and people while fracking for natural gas, who lobby like hell trying to undermine our political system so they can build a dirty power plant in the middle of the woods in Burrillville, or a dangerous liquefied natural gas facility in the port of South Providence, both communities who spoke loudly and clearly about not wanting to take on those risks. Those same fossil fuel executives have known for decades about the global climate crisis, the problems that their industry was causing. Those same fossil fuel executives who, instead of accepting the scientific reality and transitioning to clean sources of energy, have funneled billions of dollars of dark money into all levels of government to deny that the problem even exists and delay solutions anywhere near the scale needed to solve it. And because of them, we are in a crisis, a climate crisis, as you watch this. People are already being harmed by climate change, and the most vulnerable members of our community, those in poverty, people of color, our seniors, our kids, they feel it worst. And for young people, my generation and those that come after me, we aren't guaranteed a livable climate as we get older. We aren't guaranteed a lengthy and comfortable retirement. We aren't really guaranteed a future. And we come to terms with that every day. And in communities like ours, in places like Woonsocket, the effects of the climate crisis are already and will continue to be more severe than in a lot of other places in the US. Many in our community are part of those especially vulnerable populations. And for those who already feel systemic oppression in other ways, the effect of climate change will be worse. Woonsocket has little tree cover and a lot of open, developed land, which means that heat waves, like the one about to hit this weekend, are much more dangerous. The limited habitat for wildlife puts the biodiversity of our plant and animal neighbors at risk, and the quality of our air is already low, as a city with few trees, so many cars, and that awful sewage treatment plant. But that problem will only get worse as the world warms, threatening the health of members of our community. And with so many people living in poverty, not having access to good food, basic health care, clean air and water, and adequate housing, we are at an even greater risk as runaway climate change worsens our quality of life in the coming decades. Woonsocket, like every other place on Earth, is in the midst of the climate crisis. But our city has suffered for decades under a number of other mounting problems as well. We are in an economic crisis. Our manufacturing industry is gone, and with nothing to replace it, our economy has basically crashed. It's harder than ever for innovative people in our community to keep their businesses afloat, or even to begin them in the first place. And from that economic depression has come an education crisis. Our dwindling tax base and inequitable funding by the state government has meant that Woonsocket can't prioritize or appropriately fund our public education system, or treat our teachers and students with the respect that they deserve. And by not doing that, we are robbing from the future to barely scrape by in the present. And as a result of the damaged, stagnant local economy, our people are suffering. People in our community are experiencing homelessness and substance use disorder at incredibly high rates. They lack equitable access to health care. And without even one full-service grocery store and very few places that sell fresh, healthy food, Woonsocket is a giant food desert. We are at a difficult moment in our city's history. We are at a difficult moment in human history. If we don't address the climate crisis head on, at the scale and on the timeline that it demands, there is no future for generations to come. And global starvation, disease, and displacement will mark life on this planet over the next century. And if we don't equitably and sustainably regrow Woonsocket's crumbling economy, life will be that much worse for the working class people here. I believe there is hope. The best way to solve the crises of climate change, economic recession, educational and health access inequity, and poverty is together. Together, as a community, we have to design wide-reaching, locally appropriate, holistic solutions that tackle these problems simultaneously. The city of Woonsocket is at a historic turning point, one that uniquely positions us to undertake this task. Our city was at the forefront of the Industrial Revolution, and it can be at the forefront of the revolution we need today to create a green economy that will allow our city and our planet to prosper in the years to come. What would that revolution look like for the people of Woonsocket? It means better urban planning, better public transportation, and designing towards walkability and bikeability. It means preventing the destruction of forests for the sake of unneeded development. It means stopping the use of fossil fuels, decarbonizing our energy by putting solar on every city building and incentivizing it on homes and businesses, and working with responsible renewable energy developers to create projects in our city, all of which can save the government money, save the taxpayers money, and create good-paying jobs in our community. It means implementing and incentivizing energy efficiency throughout the city, cleaning up our local environment and polluted river, and working towards the lofty concept of democratized energy generation and distribution. It means fighting corporate influence and dysfunction and fixing Woonsocket's budget shortfalls quickly so we can design towards a future instead of always obsessing about the past. It means reinvesting in public school teachers and public education, breaking down the barriers for low-carbon local artists and cottage industries and small businesses, and designing economic policy for the 99% with economic justice as the backbone, policies that solve climate change while making people's lives better. What Woonsocket needs is a Green New Deal. From the broader concept of the federal Green New Deal, we can extract a plan for municipal redesign and redevelopment. We can produce clean energy right here at home, keeping energy dollars and jobs in our local economy. We can turn Woonsocket, our economically depressed post-industrial home, into a city of the future, a city of the Green New Deal. And that's why I have proudly signed this pledge to support the Green New Deal. But I can't do this alone. It will take input from every member of our community, from experts in the issues that we face. And it all starts by making your voice heard in the ballot box on August 6th. Your vote is a signal that Woonsocket is ready for something new, a dynamic vision for a vibrant green economy and a livable future. I'm excited to work towards that future with you as your next city councilman. Thank you.